Madame Gazelle isn't just Peppa's teacher, she's a vampire. We've seen the clues for years. No reflection. Doesn't age. Surrounded by bats. Garlic sends her running. Textbook Dracula. But here's the twist. If she's really a vampire, why hasn't anyone been bitten? Why are Peppa and all the children in playgroup still safe? The answer might shock you. Because someone is working behind the scenes, secretly protecting the kids. And it's the last person you'd expect. Mr. Bull. He's there fixing, guarding, even distracting. Almost like he's secretly keeping Madame Gazelle under control, or helping her keep her secret from being exposed. Could the town's loudest builder actually be the children's silent protector? Let's take a closer look at the clues, and you'll see just how far Mr. Bull might be going to keep Peppa and her friends safe. If there's one thing everybody knows about vampires, it's this. Garlic is their kryptonite. And in the episode Wildflower Wood, we finally see Madame Gazelle exposed. The episode begins with the class about to leave for a nature walk, but who is conveniently waiting outside with his lawnmower? Mr. Bull. Out of all days to cut the grass, he just happens to show up the exact moment the class leaves for their trip and joins them. Coincidence? Or was he waiting? Madame Gazelle leads the children through the woods, pointing out the flowers, when they stumble across something unusual. Wild garlic. Penny Polar Bear even says it smells like her mum's cooking. But instead of smiling, Madame Gazelle steps back and mutters,
"Some people cook with it. I don't like it much myself."
She doesn't like garlic, exactly what you'd expect from a vampire. And Mr. Bull is standing right there, watching the whole thing. The theory says this wasn't just luck. He was the one who planted that garlic in the first place, sprinkling it along the trail to weaken her powers. Why else would the town's builder care so much about flowers? Why else is garlic growing right where the class stops? Plants like that don't just appear overnight. Someone put them there. And who's always around soil, digging, and planting? Mr. Bull. Notice what happens next. The second Madame Gazelle admits she doesn't like garlic, Mr. Bull jumps in and shifts the focus.
Madame Gazelle, do you know which flowers make a tasty drink?
Distracting the children, almost like he's protecting them from putting two and two together. So the question is, was this really a nature walk? Or was it Mr. Bull's secret mission to keep the kids safe from their own teacher? And if he's already guarding them here, what other times has he quietly stepped in to protect them? One of the clearest signs that Mr. Bull might be protecting everyone from Madame Gazelle isn't in the classroom at all. It's right above it, the school roof. For some reason, this roof never stays fixed. Every time tiles break or the ceiling caves in, Mr. Bull is always there first. But what if that's not a coincidence? The theory goes that Mr. Bull doesn't actually want the roof completely repaired. By leaving cracks and gaps, he lets sunlight pour in during the day. And sunlight is one of the oldest vampire weaknesses. In other words, every time Mr. Bull fixes the roof, he's really making sure it stays just broken enough for beams of sunlight to creep through. And if Madame Gazelle really is a vampire, that means she's basically teaching playgroup under a giant spotlight. Turns out leaving holes in the roof isn't lazy, it's genius vampire proofing. Here's where things get seriously creepy. In the episode Madame Gazelle's house, her home is tilting because of a massive Christmas tree she planted when it was tiny. But now, it's taller than the entire house. The tree aged, but Madame Gazelle hasn't changed a bit. Suspicious, right? And who shows up again to handle things? You guessed it, Mr. Bull. He climbs the tree himself, even though he's usually the one shouting orders while his crew does the digging. Why suddenly so hands-on? When he reaches the top, he finds a colony of bats nesting in the branches. Most people would panic, but Madame Gazelle just smiles and says,
My friends the bats. They remind me of the old country.
A place full of bats. Like Transylvania, maybe. But was Mr. Bull really just trimming a tree? Or was he making sure those bats didn't become her allies in the night? And if you think that's strange, wait until you see the next clue, because even Mr. Bull's marriage might be part of his plan to keep Madame Gazelle under control. Here's a twist you probably didn't see coming. What if Mr. Bull isn't working alone? Think about it. He recently married Mrs. Cow, and just like Madame Gazelle, she has a French accent.
Hello!
That's not a random choice. Could they both have come from the same old country? The very place Madame Gazelle hints at when she talks about bats reminding her of home? And there's more. Mrs. Cow works as a nurse and is part of the fire engine service. Out of all the jobs in Peppa's world, why would Mr. Bull choose a partner whose profession is literally treating injuries and rescuing people from danger? Unless he needed someone who understood the risks, someone who could act quickly if Madame Gazelle ever stopped hiding and started behaving like a real vampire. So here's the theory. Mr. Bull didn't just marry for love, he married for protection. A wife who shares a background with Madame Gazelle, who knows what she really is, and who can help him keep the children safe if things ever turn deadly. But this raises a bigger question. If Mr. Bull and Mrs. Cow are secretly working together, how many others in Peppa's town already know the truth about Madame Gazelle? If Madame Gazelle really is a vampire, then her biggest giveaway could be her teeth. And that's why, in the episode Mr. Bull the Teacher, it's so suspicious when she suddenly tells the class she has to rush off to the dentist in the middle of playgroup. For anyone else, that's a normal checkup. But for her, it looks more like a cover-up. Maybe a way to hide her fangs before the children notice. And right at that exact moment, who's hanging around outside the school? Mr. Bull. He's not fixing pipes or digging roads this time. He's casually mowing the grass. Builders don't usually do that. It's almost like he was hovering nearby, keeping watch, waiting for the chance to step in. But instead of teaching numbers or nursery rhymes, what does Mr. Bull do? He grabs a hammer and starts ripping up the floorboards. He claims it's just a squeak, but come on. He tears half the classroom apart. Was he really fixing wood or searching for something hidden under Madame Gazelle's school? And when Madame Gazelle returns, she doesn't thank him. She doesn't even ask about the kids. She tells him to put everything back exactly the way it was. Almost like she didn't want him uncovering what's really buried under that classroom. If Madame Gazelle really is a vampire, then her power should be terrifying. And in the episode Bat and Ball, we see it. She swings the bat once, and the ball doesn't just fly. It smashes into the school roof with enough force to leave damage behind. That's not a tired teacher playing games. That's vampire strength, hidden in plain sight. But here's the twist. What if she's not the only one hiding unnatural power? Because in Mr. Bull in a china shop, we see something just as shocking. Mr. Bull hauls a massive underground metal pipe, the kind that normally needs a crane, and hurls it aside like it's nothing. No machine, no crew, just one line from him.
I don't know my own strength!
That's not just muscle, that's something more. So maybe the real reason Madame Gazelle behaves is because she knows Mr. Bull is there. Garlic and sunshine are one thing, but raw power? He might be the only one strong enough to keep her in check if her vampire side ever took over. And if both of them are hiding this much, what other secrets are buried in Peppa's world, waiting to be uncovered? So there you have it. Maybe Madame Gazelle really is a vampire, and maybe Mr. Bull has been protecting the children all along. But what do you think? Is he secretly a vampire hunter, or just the unluckiest builder in town? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your theories. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit subscribe and check out our other videos. We've got plenty more Peppa Pig mysteries waiting for you. Thank you for watching.